I circle back around, I'm coming home. Through the wilderness, I'm not alone. Your love's a fire, it pulls me through. I circle back to you.
Hey guys, welcome to Circle Back to God. Today we are taking a deep dive on what God has intended for our government. I will be starting in Exodus, where Moses takes the seat as judge. We are focusing today on the Declaration of Independence, and our next video, because I had to split this in 2 episodes, our next video will be on the Constitution. So, what does Exodus 18:13-27 state? Well, I will read it to you fine folks. The next day, Moses took his seat to serve as judge for the people, and they stood around him from morning till evening. When his father-in-law saw all that Moses was doing for the people, he said, "What is this you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit as judge, while all these people stand around you from morning till evening?" Moses answered him, "Because the people come to me to seek God's will. Whenever they have a dispute, it is brought to me, and I decide between the parties and inform them of God's decrees and instructions." Moses' father-in-law replied, "What you are doing is not good. You and these people who come to you will only wear yourselves out. The work is too heavy for you. You cannot handle it alone. Listen now to me, and I will give you some advice, and may God be with you. You must be the people's representative before God and bring their disputes to him. Teach them his decrees and instructions, and show them the way they are to live and how they are to behave. But select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain, and appoint them in officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. Have them serve as judges for the people at all times, but have them bring every difficult case to you. The simple cases they can decide themselves. That will make your load lighter, because they will share it with you. If you do this, and God so commands, you will be able to stand the strain, and all these people will go home satisfied." Moses listened to his father-in-law and did everything he said. He chose capable men from all Israel and made them leaders of the people, officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. They served as judges for the people at all times. The difficult cases they brought to Moses, but the simple ones they decided themselves. Now, I don't know about you, but that kind of sounds like what we have now for our judicial system, where we can go to a civil case, we can go to a criminal case, and higher. Now, Moses served as a judge on the Supreme Court, if you want to put it to a parallel. We take our difficult cases to the Supreme Court. That is what God intended right there, and Moses' father-in-law helped him decide that, and that's where judges began in Exodus. I made a list of similarities between the Bible and the U.S. government, and I'm going to go through those. In the Bible, there's commandments. In the U.S., we have the Constitution. In the Bible, there's 12 tribes. In the U.S., we have 12 jurors. In the Bible, there's Pharaoh, which is kind of like a king. He's the ruler. In the United States, we have the president. In the Bible, we have a governor. In the United States, we have a governor. In the Bible, we have an officer. In the United States, we have a police officer. In the Bible, there's trials. In the United States, there's trials. In the Bible, there was a magistrate. Guess what? In the United States, there's a magistrate. We also have prisons. They had prisons. We pay taxes. They had to pay taxes. So, a lot of our government is based on the Bible. Now, I'm going to more focus on the Declaration of Independence. That's where most of my research did, but I wanted to bring Exodus into it so you guys can see how God intended our judicial system to be. For our Declaration of Independence, it was signed on July 4th, 1776. Very important because that is our Independence Day. We should celebrate it not just by partying and having barbecues, but remembering what we fought for to get our independence. Now, the people that signed it are John Adams, Samuel Adams, Joshua Bartlett, Carter Braxton, Charles Carl, Samuel Chase, and Abraham Clark. Okay. These men signed this Declaration of Independence because it meant a lot to have the independence from the King of Britain. They suffered a lot at the hands of the king. The first public reading of the Declaration of Independence was on July 8th, 1776, so only 4 days after, and it was published in a few different areas as well. And remember, we fought a war to gain our independence. I don't know if you remember the saying, the redcoats are coming, the redcoats are coming. You know, that was the war to get our independence. The Declaration of Independence is a very important document. And in the Declaration of Independence, we have a few takeaways. One of which God is mentioned 4 times. And in the second paragraph, God is mentioned as our creator. It states, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." So, even in that part right there, God is mentioned as our Creator. That is undeniable. If you go to Genesis 1:1, it says, "Then God made," or God created. He's our creator. It's undoubtable. Right there, states it. In the Declaration of Independence, our creator. Okay. Another key takeaway is that they did not want a king to rule over them because of the bad experience they already had with the King of Great Britain. In the Declaration of Independence, it lists a bill of grievances against the king, such as making judges dependent on his will, meaning the king's will, not God's will, the king's will, alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount of and payment of their salaries. It states that the judges were dependent on the king, so if the judges did something that the king did not like, he could take their salaries away or change the amount of their salaries. Now, I don't know if you guys paid attention this week at all to the protest that happened on Saturday, which was labeled the No Kings protest because they're believing that Trump is a king. If you read the Declaration of Independence, it basically states what the king was doing, and that's why they wanted their independence. Now, if you read that and then look at everything that Trump is dealing with having to go to the Supreme Court, getting sued over and over again, trying to get this passed, trying to get that passed, he is definitely not a king. For one, we wouldn't have a government shutdown. For two, if we had a king, there wouldn't have been a No Kings protest. So if you look at the Declaration of Independence and you compare that to what we're dealing with today, it's completely different. There's law and order when it comes to what the president can do. If he was a king, he wouldn't have had to get elected. He would have just been in. But he got elected as our president. There's a couple of similarities, too, from the Bible and to what we face in America. One of which is very, very prevalent. And it's the house divided against itself cannot stand. This is mentioned in Matthew 12:25-29, and plus Abraham Lincoln said it. Abraham Lincoln said on June 16th, 1858, in front of 1,000 delegates for the Republican State Convention, "A house divided against itself cannot stand. I believe this government cannot endure permanently half slave and half free." Then, if you go into the Bible and you flip over to Matthew 12, Yep. If you read Matthew 12:25-29, it states, Jesus knew their thoughts and said to them, every kingdom divided against itself will be ruined, and every city or household divided against itself will not stand. If Satan drives out Satan, he is divided against himself. How then can his kingdom stand? And if I drive out demons by Beelzebub, by whom do your people drive them out? So then they will be your judges. But if it is by the Spirit of God that I drive out demons, then the kingdom of God has come upon you. Or again, how can anyone enter a strong man's house and carry off his possessions unless he first ties up the strong man? Then he can plunder his house. This is just like I mentioned a few minutes ago. And Abraham Lincoln are 100% correct. A house divided against itself cannot stand. We have a lot of division right now. We have blacks against whites. We have legals against illegals. We have Democrats against Republicans. We have the No Kings protest with the constitutional protest. Right now we have so much division that we just need to bring back God. God can unify us. And that's what this channel is all about, is circling back to God. We need God more than ever. But even Lincoln's friends, they regarded his speech as too radical for the occasion. So in this convention, they thought it was too radical, but he did it anyway. Because he believed that we needed to unify the United States. And I believe that wholeheartedly. We need to unify, get back as one. There's a couple roles we have as Christians to play in government. One of them is to be salt and light in the world, and the other is to have faith with works. Now, from that, just so you know, I'm not saying this. Jesus says this. And I'm going to turn to Matthew 5:13-16 and read that one to you as well. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the salt of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. So what Jesus is saying in this statement is that we need to be salt and light. We need to have the tastefulness of a Christian, and we need to be light, as in people can see us and see that we have the Spirit flowing in us. And that's how we also live in our daily government. We can be part of the government. It does not ever say in the Bible, it never says to not be a part of it. But we can make it better. We don't fight, we don't argue, we don't have violence. Us Christians need to, as Romans 12:21 states, don't be overcome with evil, but overcome evil with good. And if you have a disagreement with somebody, don't argue with them. Have a discussion, have a debate. Don't insult them. And if they get too rough, walk away. Jesus walked away. I mentioned that in my last video. Jesus walked away. As Jesus said, we need to be salt and light in the world. We also need to have faith with works. And in James 2:14-22, it states, "What good is it, my brothers and sisters, if someone claims to have faith but has no deeds? Can such faith save them? Suppose a brother or sister is without clothes and daily food. If one of you says to them, 'Go in peace, keep warm and well fed,' but does nothing about their physical needs, what good is it? In the same way, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. But someone will say, 'You have faith, I have deeds.' Show me your faith without deeds, and I will show you my faith by my deeds. You believe that there is one God. Good. Even the demons believe that and shudder. You foolish person, do you want evidence that faith without deeds is useless? Was not our father Abraham considered righteous for what he did when he offered his son Isaac on the altar? You see that his faith and his actions were working together, and his faith was made complete by what he did. I believe, it's my opinion now, I believe that you can have faith, you should have faith in Jesus Christ. But you also should bring that faith into your deeds. When you go out and serve in the public, serve righteously. Don't serve with anger, malice, violence. Serve righteously. It's okay to go out and protest something you don't believe in. Do it righteously. It's okay to make a podcast for something you believe in. Do it righteously. Deeds are important. Deeds should be aligned with our Christianity values. On November 4th, when you go out to vote, pray first. See what God has in store for our government in the near future. And remember, folks, don't ever stop learning. Keep studying the Bible. Keep studying our American history. I'm infatuated with learning the parallels between what our government shows and what the Bible shows. There's so much to learn, and I, for one, believe we are circling back to God and circling back to our American history. So, on that, I will see you all next Friday, 5 o'clock sharp. If you have a topic you would like me to discuss, please comment down below, and please subscribe so other Christians and non-believers can see this video as well. Thank you, and God bless.
Ran through shadows, chasing gold, lost my way in stories told, but the quiet called my name. Circle back to you, through the storms and sky so blue. Every path I walk, it's true, leads me back to you.